We want to get right to that breaking news. People in Hawaii are bracing for potentially damaging waves within about the next 10 to 20 minutes from a tsunami that was triggered by a powerful earthquake in eastern Russia. Thank you for joining us here for our News at 10. I'm Edie Lambert.
And I'm Curtis Mang. We want to show you those conditions in Hawaii right now. We've got a live look here at the coast of Kauai, where people are under a tsunami warning. They're urged to evacuate if they live near the coast. We're talking about an 8.8 earthquake. It is one of the strongest in the world on record that happened off the eastern side of Russia. It created waves expected to reach the Hawaiian Islands. Kauai could reach there at about 10:10 our time, 7:10 their time. Sirens have been blaring at different intervals, alerting people to get away from the beaches, move to higher ground, and that has caused gridlock on some of the islands. We know in Oahu, they've had traffic accidents and a lot of gridlock as people are going to higher ground. The National Guard has positioned troops and equipment to help if those waves turn out to be damaging.
Okay, let's focus now on the West Coast. Much of the West Coast under a tsunami advisory, but there is a stretch of the Northern California coastline under a warning right now. That's between Cape Mendocino and the Oregon state line. Officials in Crescent City are urging people along the coast to evacuate to higher ground. They have been sounding tsunami sirens in that area. Residents in a low-lying RV park in that city are told to move inland to parking lots. The first waves there are expected at around 11:50 tonight. Along California, Oregon, and Washington, a major tsunami is not expected, but it could still cause dangerous currents and strong waves, and people are urged to stay away from the shoreline. The first waves are expected to arrive in Washington state at about 11:45 and then 11:55 in parts of Oregon.
So scientists right now are monitoring the tsunami warning system with buoys across the ocean that can detect abnormal wavelengths. And let's check in with KCRA 3's Heather Waldman, who's been keeping an eye on all that.
Yeah, I want to start off with the timeline of just how all of this got started. So about 5.5 hours ago, our time, that's when that earthquake struck off the peninsula there in eastern Russia. And of course, when you have a major earthquake like that, it can disrupt the sea floor. It can quickly displace a huge amount of ocean water. That's where the tsunami comes from. All of that energy just propagates across all of the open water. So again, we're expecting that wave to reach the Hawaiian Islands sometime between 10:10 and 10:17 our time. It takes hours for that tsunami to traverse the wide open ocean, but still a tsunami in open water can be traveling hundreds of miles an hour. It does slow down as it reaches some of the nearshore waters. For Crescent City, that wave likely to reach the California coast just ahead of midnight for a spot like Monterey at about 12:15. So those are the approximate times coming in from the National Weather Service. Tsunami Advisory, as Curtis and Edie just explained, does span up and down the entire West Coast. For our immediate area along the, say, the San Francisco Bay Area, we're expecting that wave to peak at less than a foot. And remember, when we say wave, it's not going to be like a big breaking wave, not a cartoon type wave like what a lot of people picture. Even the bigger areas like along the Northern California coast, where, we will see anywhere from 2 to 4 feet of that tsunami wave. It's really just a sudden surge of water, not that big breaking wave. But here is the area that is under that tsunami warning. This is where, specifically around Crescent City, waves expected to peak around 2.6 to 4.8 feet. That's actually been lowered compared to what we were talking about an hour or 2 hours ago, but no less of a serious situation for the folks in Crescent City. That's the area of most concern. The Humboldt County coast likely to see waves around 1 to 2 feet, so less of a pressing situation there. Another thing I've been watching is the tide charts. So for Crescent City, low tide occurs just here in a couple of minutes. For San Francisco and Monterey, we're already past low tide. So by the time that wave, that tsunami wave, or what's left of it arrives, we still won't be quite at high tide. And in fact, for San Francisco and Monterey, with a wave crest forecast of less than a foot, well, the surge that comes in may not even make it to what would be considered high tide this time of day. So for places like San Francisco and Monterey, avoid the immediate coast. pretty easily done during the overnight hours like this. Crescent City could have some more significant impacts, but of course we're closely watching Hawaii as we go through the next 30 minutes or so. Back to you.
All right, thank you. And tonight we're getting our first pictures out of Russia. This is drone video, which is very close to where this epicenter was, which was off the coast of eastern Russia. You could see a large section of that community there underwater. That 8.8 quake has been followed by a number of strong aftershocks. Edie and I have been talking about this. Some of these aftershocks have been in the 6 to 7 range, which are powerful earthquakes all of their own. So far, we have not heard any reports of injuries. We are monitoring the situation. We'll bring you the updates as we get them throughout the newscast.